Howdy everyone, my name is Mike, and this is the Bored Cyborg. Yeehaw! Welcome back to yet another episode of What's in the Bag, which is my version of the DVD, movie, Blu-ray, video game, comic collection update, where I talk about each film or piece individually and go over why I picked it up, why it's in the collection, and if I have any thoughts about them. So let's not waste any more time. I'd love to know what you guys have been picking up over the last few weeks or couple months or whatever, so feel free to leave it down in the comments below and we'll get a little discussion rolling. I do have mostly Blu-rays for today, but I do have two DVDs I want to get out of the way. That is Sanctuary, a theboredcyborg film. Mark Dacascos did a couple films with this guy in the mid to late 90s that I've yet to see, and I've heard mixed things about. I'm a huge Mark Dacascos fan. I think he's one of the most underrated action film stars of all time. He just never really got a chance at the big time until John Wick 3, now that he's in his 50s, of course, and he was remarkable in John Wick 3. And I remember walking out of that movie and people were like, who was the villain? Who was that guy? And I was like, no, it's Mark Dacascos! It's Mark Dacascos, people! Anyway, this is Sanctuary. I really don't know much about this one, but it is an action flick directed by theboredcyborg and starring my man, Mark Dacascos. So I'm looking forward to checking out Sanctuary. Next up, a guy came into the bookstore recently and actually donated this to me because we didn't want it for the store, and he was like, and I was like, yeah, I'm a big Full Moon fan, and he was like, here, take it. It sucked. And I was like, okay. Unbeknownst to me, this is actually from the 90s. This is a Full Moon, one of those, Full Moon has an offshoot brand that is like aimed towards children, and I think this is one of those. Time Slingers. It has other names. It looks bizarre. I mean, look at the back. I don't know. It has like a rip-off cover of Cowboys vs. Aliens. I don't know shit about this. It has like a Ewok Chewbacca thing on the back. It was free. Getting into the Blu-rays here, I picked up Fantomas. Now, I haven't seen these. I sold off my Kino DVD to fund this wonderful Blu-ray set here of five Fantomas films and 2 short Fantomas films. Directed by Louis Filade. I'm so bad at pronouncing French names. But that is Fantomas. This is said to have inspired Dr. Mabuse, Fritz Lang's Dr. Mabuse. And it's a early crime mystery sort of thriller. It is a silent film series, and I'm really looking forward to digging into these. My silent film collection on Blu-ray grows and grows and grows. This is not quite horror, but it is sort of genre, and it has some imagery that is definitely evocative of some horror. So I'm really looking forward to checking out Fantomas. Next up, picked this up at the store a couple days ago now that we're open. That is Super Troopers. I was craving to buy a movie because I haven't gone hunting in so long. So I brought in some stuff that I didn't want anymore to trade in, and I picked up Super Troopers on Blu-ray. I was like, you know what? I like the guys that do these movies. What's it? Broken Lizard, Jay Chandrasekhar. I'm going to pronounce his name right. Jay Chandrasekhar. So Beer Fest, Super Troopers, Club Dread, I'm a fan of. I know not many people like that movie, but I enjoy their movies, or at least I did when I was growing up. I haven't seen this movie in quite some time, and I haven't seen Beer Fest in quite some time, but I think I'll still enjoy them, at least nostalgically, so that is Super Troopers. Next up, talking about silent films, The Golem. The Golem from 1920. Yes, this film is 100 years old. It's a centenarian. And I plan to do something big for this later in October because I think that's when its anniversary was. I want to do a whole video on this 100-year anniversary. Man, that is just incredible to me. Obviously, a German silent film by Paul Wegener, who wrote, directed, played the creature in this movie. It's an old story I don't know much about. I've yet to see the film, I gotta be honest. But I sold my Kino DVD to fund this Blu-ray. There aren't many silent horror films left on Blu-ray for me to collect. I still need Vampire. I think Vampire and a couple of the Flicker Alley ones like Page of Madness and The Last Warning are really the only 3 that I need to complete my silent horror collection on Blu-ray, which is turning into one of my favorite subgenres with the more and more films from it I watch. I am so grateful that these films are even alive. The Golem. Next up, my buddy Michael Schubert actually recommended this director to me, William Kaufman. And so I was looking through our movies at the bookstore the other day, and I saw this one. I was like, One in the Chamber. What do we got? Cuba Gooding Jr., Dolph Lundgren, directed by William Kaufman. So I picked it up on his recommendation. Apparently, William Kaufman makes some really solid action movies with good gunplay and things like that. I don't know much about these movies, but he recommended this one in particular, so I'm looking forward to checking out One in the Chamber. Next up, adding to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre collection, which I think I only need a couple more films at this point to complete it. That is, I don't even know what this is called. Texas Chainsaw. Very original title. Not confusing at all. I don't know anything about this. I think this is the one with Trey Songz, so if that's indicative of the quality of film we're going to be getting here, Trey Songz is an R&B artist from like 10, 15 years ago that was popular. I'm not expecting too much from this, but I like these movies. I've really not seen any that I don't like. I even like Marcus Nispel's remake. I used to love it. Now I just kind of like it. I think it kind of loses a lot of what the original was going for. It's too clean looking. It's too sexy. But yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to checking this one out at some point once I work my way up to it. That is Texas Chainsaw. I cannot actually feel my legs anymore. Oh, there's another DVD. I forgot. Sorry about that. Burying the X. This is a Joe Dante film I picked up months ago because it's a Joe Dante film. I haven't heard many good things about this, but reading the synopsis on the back, it sounds pretty cool. I already forgot what it was about. But it has Anton Yelchin, who I love. It's about a girl who is very controlling and manipulating, and she dies in a freak accident and then rises from the grave. So it kind of sounds like My Boyfriend's Back. Sounds good to me. It's Joe Dante, man. I really enjoy his work, even when he's not at the top of his game. So, of course, Joe Dante did Gremlins and so many fun Gremlins 2, Small Soldiers, Piranha. I'm missing a bunch, but he just makes fun movies. Matinee. I'm looking forward to Burying the X. Next up, talk about film franchises that I haven't really gotten too far with. The Saw franchise. This is Jigsaw. I think the Ford brothers did? No, the Spearig brothers. That's right. I get those two brothers mixed up. Spearig brothers, I believe they did Predestination, which I really, really liked. They did Winchester too, which got like universally panned. But I haven't gotten past Saw 3 yet. I turned Saw 3 off halfway through about 10 years ago when it came out, and I was like, this is just garbage. I do need to get through the rest of the series. As a horror fan, I feel like I owe it to the series to at least give it a chance. So that is Jigsaw. What's this, the 8th movie, I think? 7th or 8th movie? Maybe one day. The last Blu-ray before I go into 4 video games that I acquired is The Longest Day. I don't know much about this besides it's a World War II war film from, I think, 1962 with an all-star cast. I'm looking forward to checking this out at one day. It's supposed to be a classic, epic war film, so I figured for $1, I think I picked it up for $1 from a pawn shop a couple months ago when they were open. Worth $1, worth a shot, add it to the war collection for show. And lastly, before we closed the bookstore for about 2 months, a gentleman came in with a box of movies, and we went through them, and at the bottom of the box was a whole bunch of video games. And I've talked about some of those already in previous What's in the Bags, but these, I think, were the last 4 that I really got from that little lot. Essentially, the guy was like, hey, if you want to make me an offer, because we didn't take them at the bookstore, so I was like, I got $15 in my wallet. Does that work? And he was like, sold. And so he sold me a bunch of like 20 games, honestly, from the Super Nintendo to the PlayStation to the PS2. And so the first up, this is a game I used to own. I wish this was not the greatest hits version. I can't stand that red label. It just looks so bad to me. I want the original. A lot of the times they change the artwork on the disc and sometimes take the color out of the manual too. I don't know if they did that here. Okay, it still looks pretty good, but that ugly red band. Anyway, Okami is a beautiful, hand-drawn, whimsical game in the style of The Legend of Zelda, which is arguably my favorite series of all time. And it follows a legendary god named... oh man, I forgot the name of this god. It's in the form of a wolf. It manifests as a wolf. It starts with an A. I forgot what the hell the name of it is. It's been a long time since I've played this, but the game really does play like The Legend of Zelda. It's adventurous, it's fun, it's got great action, and segments where you have to sort of draw to do certain combat moves, and just a beautiful game that really sweeps you away with its art style. It reminds me of Miyazaki. It's very fantastical and just floaty and just beautiful. Honestly, it's an ethereal game. Check out Okami if you're a fan of the Legend of Zelda games for sure. Next up is Front Mission 4. I believe this is a mech RPG of sorts. I want to say turn-based. I've actually never played a Front Mission game, so if you guys know about these games, feel free to leave down in the comments below how you feel about them, and if you think I'll enjoy them. I'm going to at least give this one a try. That is Front Mission 4. Next up is Tekken Tag Tournament. I grew up playing the Tekken games, loved Tekken 2, or Tekken 1, 2, and 3. 3 was the one that just blew me away, though. I was so addicted to beating the game with each fighter and getting more and more of their backstories unlocked, and then unlocking, like, the giant panda and these bizarre characters. Just a great 3D fighting game from the 90s that I had a blast with. But I've never played this one, so I'm looking forward to giving Tekken Tag Tournament a try. I'm going to bust it out one day. My brother and I can maybe go a few rounds. It should be pretty fun. Tekken, they're just fun games. They're fun 3D beat-em-ups that you don't really need to learn the moves. You could if you want. You could button mash. It doesn't really matter. They're just have fun with it. And the last game here before I talk about 2 graphic novels I have over here is Phantom Brave. This seems to be a turn-based strategy RPG for the PS2. Cool. I'm going to give this one a shot at some point when I have some time. Add it to the PS2 collection. I don't know much about it. It was done by NIS America. I know they put out some great RPGs, so yeah, looking forward to it. This one is complete. Nice color artwork on the manual there, and yeah, Phantom Brave. And last but not least, before my legs crack at the knee because I can't feel them, Batman Forever and Batman Returns, the graphic novel adaptations. Oh yeah, had to pick these up. These were 50 cents a piece at my store. Actually, no, this one was $2. This one was 50 cents. So yeah, I'm starting to collect these, I guess. These early 90s, late 80s movies that had comic book adaptations done for them. Oh, I mean, these are just so cool. Let's look at some of the artwork here. It's garish, but I love it. Look at that. Look at the color and look at that hard black lines there. And obviously it's going to follow the story of Batman Forever, the movie, which I do enjoy. I still enjoy to this day. I think it has a ton of imagination. And Batman Returns, I'm not going to crack this open because it's graded 9. A rough grade of 9. And this one, I did look in before I bought it, and it's just as glorious, if not more glorious, as this one. So yeah, 2 graphic novel adaptations of movies that we know and love, or at least some of us know and love. I just want to thank you for checking out my latest episode of What's in the Bag. I'd love to know what you guys have picked up over the last couple weeks, couple months, whatever it may be. Feel free to leave that down in the comments below and we'll get a little discussion. Rolling. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell for notificaciones. Anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Bored Cyborg is out. Hasta la vista, baby.